All right, guys, here we're going to talk about The Good Place, Season 1, Episode 4. I hate this monk guy.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, I hate him.
Sure. I would describe my reaction as mixed. But
my issue with is I hate dumb characters.
Yeah, and he's impossibly dumb, right?
Yeah, he's ridiculously dumb.
That's my major issue with him as well.
And that I just have an issue. And I know people that are very dumb. So like I know those people exist.
Yeah.
But I can't stand them on TV shows because the polar opposite is like every other character on TV show where it's like that guy's impossibly witty and that person's super charming and blah.
Yeah.
And then like so dumb people really stand out where I'm like, oh my god, in this world there can't be people like you.
You can't be that dumb.
Just too dumb.
So do you mean that he's unrealistically dumb for real life? He's too dumb, or do you mean that on a show? Like
on a show, dumb people stand out more because regular people are made to be so eloquent and witty. So like if you're raising the bar on what a normal person is, they also have to super lower the bar for what a dumb person is, and that's when it becomes like that's not a real person. Like you're so dumb.
So like in real life, the differences can be subtle, and people can be dumb in interesting ways, right? You can be dumb about a lot of stuff, but not certain things, right? So for a TV show, right, where the smart characters benefit from the writing staff to make everything so slick, those same writers then have to draw such a huge contrast where you're like, no, literally, how are you dressing yourself? How are you not accidentally poisoning yourself?
I honestly, though, do wonder how he dresses himself because
he's
like,
not used to those clothes.
Those weird wrap things are not intuitive, I imagine.
Exactly.
I wouldn't even know how they hang on a clothing hanger, let alone to put them onto your body.
He might be getting Janet's help. Is my only thing.
That's actually very possible.
That's probably the only thing. Because so this episode picks up right where we left off. They're out there at night, and they're continuing their conversation. Eleanor and Jianyu, whose real name is Jason.
Yeah.
And he's a DJ.
DJ, a fake drug dealer.
And I sell fake drugs to college students. That's like, okay. So like the part that I dislike is the same thing that you're saying, how like dumb he is and how that's going to work on the whole thing. I don't dislike that there's another person who's not supposed to be there.
No, I like that.
Who's
even worse off because this guy is not even his right name.
Well, and like he's in like an even worse position than she is in like a sense. So I think last time we literally described every minute of this show. Between the two of us, we successfully predicted almost everything that was going to happen, like beat for beat, which I'm very proud of, proving that we have what it takes to be on a Hollywood writer staff or whatever. So the whole thing here is that she was getting the hang of it, kind of, but now she has to be the one, and they call it out at the end, where like she's like, "I'm the smartest kid in class" or whatever, right?
Yeah.
So there's someone even worse on this whole situation,
and that's almost ridiculous when you think that when you think about the outcome here, where getting caught means you're going to hell for all eternity, and how little effort people are putting in to not go to hell, it drives me nuts.
Well, they're bad people.
They are bad people, but even if you're a bad person, like nothing says you have to engage in all these social things. You could just say, Michael, you know what? I'd like to be alone for the next 1,000 years and just sit there and play Xbox and watch movies, and you would have no problems, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of social pressure being exerted in a situation where, and that was like, I'm glad they're using Michael for that, because otherwise you'd be like, how is this other person getting you to do anything? Because you're just like, Janet, private island, please. Like, just do, like, right?
Yeah.
Because, so, like, Michael's pressuring. He's like, I think he's ready to, like, relax his vows and come out of his shell and all that stuff, which he shouldn't even want him to do. If that's part of what made him so good or part of his, like, vibe or whatever, why is he,
I don't know.
In the
now that you can't do any more good, essentially, like you're not helping other people, it's time to live your life as a way you did not know and embrace things you didn't do in life.
I was gonna say the same thing in like a negative way though, where I'm like, he's trying to help Chidi like expand his horizons, but but somehow your vow of silence is like something holding you back or whatever. That was part of his like devoutness and his beliefs or whatever. So why is that a thing he has to bust out of his shell on? But I see now, I guess that is it is to me, because I'm not a monk, but this guy is a monk, so that's like his deal. That'd be like, oh, you're like a Muslim, now you have to eat pork in the afterlife or something. It seems like a weird thing or whatever.
Well, I'd be like, let's try the things you didn't follow. These are just a construct. It's not a real animal.
Yes.
It's all still technically vegan. Give it a shot.
It's all plant-based, if you can call them plants. They're really stars. I don't know. And goes through the whole thing.
Yeah.
No, I know, but it just seems like a weird thing. But they have to do that to like get the stuff moving and all that stuff.
You need a plot to happen.
Yeah. I'm not gonna think too hard about this.
What did you think about that like
comedy.
aggressive happy chef?
Loved it. Wrote it down with like all capital letters. I love her yelling polite things as if you know.
But my thought was like, what? My only thought on what that is that she is a foreign person, and like, you know, like we associate like Russian or like German to be just like angry languages, and because everyone speaks English there, it's only getting her inflection and not what she's saying.
That's interesting. I didn't even try to interpret it. I just laughed at it because like the angry chef who yells at people is like a trope, but now we're in the good place. So she's like, "That is very considerate of you, and I appreciate it," and then runs away.
Change the seating plans an hour before the thing. That's great. The more the merrier.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It just made me smile.
It struck me as odd. Where I was just like, why would a person like this exist? And I had to try to rationalize it.
Yeah. I think thinking about the show too much is bad. I think that's going to hurt us in a lot of angles.
Need to deeply think about everything.
This analysis
until it makes no sense.
breaks everything down. No, I totally agree though, right? Because that's obviously anger, and that's obviously bad, and that's obviously whatever, right? So I don't know, and they didn't feel the need to explain it either. So I'm kind of like, if you don't care, I don't care. Show, we'll just keep going on this thing.
Yeah. The sinkhole, that's interesting.
Yes.
I love when the guy is down there like, and we will put your soup in the fridge. I know it's probably not the same thing. It's like, no, it's very good soup.
I said it was up there.
Yeah.
It's very good soup.
And I like that. I think that's funny.
No, and like this running joke where he talks about the soup, and then they go, and like they talk on the side, and then we like the sound comes back in, and he's like, and that's how a bowl of soup saved 10,000 people. Yeah. Everyone's like, yeah, and all that stuff. Like that running joke about how good everybody else is and how amazing everybody else is.
Her favorite meal was a hunger strike.
I know. And again, that's like to one up his like block of tofu. And it's like, you will eat your wet sponge and like it. And he's like, man, and all that stuff, yeah.
I'm going to ask for chicken wings. From Stupid's Wings or whatever he said.
Stupid Nick.
Stupid Nick.
Did I write that down? How did I remember that? That's awful.
And like the very fact that he even got out 6 words and was able to say "stupid Nick," you'd be like, "The jig is up, buddy. It's over."
No, the jig should be up. So we even clocked the whole thing where like Tahani's gonna be like, "Oh, you're helping him get out of his shell, thank you," and all that. So like she sees them operating, but kind of goes like, "Oh," and all that stuff, and like it's the sitcom version where it's the different thing, and his bud hole, that whole that whole thing, super dumb. Yeah, it's weird that he has that. What am I gonna do? I told her I needed a private meditation room. I like the concept because it gets him to be himself more like dramatic and all that stuff.
Now, when he starts the party up on the second floor, I was expecting him to say, "Oh, because she's out for the day, I can finally be out in the house." But he doesn't say that. He just says like, "I'm gonna tell her who I am," and I'm like,
"Yeah,
what the fuck, idiot?"
So that's honestly like my major problem, and I lump it in with his impossible dumbness, where like now he's like, "You're right, I should be myself," and I'm like, "Did she even say that? That's not what you should be." And while I'm thinking that, she says, "No, that's the worst thing. Do not be yourself. You're horrible." Or whatever.
You suck.
No, you suck. I know. Her whole thing that actually got me laughing. Her like the way she says "I know" to his you. No, you suck. Or whatever. Other line that I liked was like, you're awful. You have no talent, but you have something better than talent. You have my approximate height and weight. Yes. Take this, put it on your head. Just hit the space bar. No one will know the difference, right? Acid Cat, like the fake dead mouse, or whatever.
Yes.
Or Marshmallow.
I hate that he took off the mask. When he went to do his own thing. What he should have done is hit play on his own stuff.
Exactly.
Let them actually be approachable because they think it's Acid Cat's new song, and then you take off the mask.
Exactly.
Did that wrong.
He did it very wrong, and I think he does everything wrong because he's impossibly dumb.
Yeah.
And I almost like I like a lot of this stuff, and they could still maybe save it, but that's going to be like an issue because it's almost like, and I'm getting very controversial with all my analogies today, but it's almost like people like oh, this civilization for 60,000 years has never been contacted by the modern world. Well, do they go to hell just because they don't believe in God? They never heard about God, right? This is his. He's impossibly dumb. He's a bad person, I guess, but he apparently lacks the faculties to tell right from wrong, like in an actual disabled person's degree. So I'm kind of like, well, shit, like. Maybe he is good on some level and just doesn't comprehend human empathy or something.
I would like his character to get killed off.
No one can get killed off. He'll be on this show for 10 seasons.
Well, if we get sent to hell, he's killed off.
Yeah, we could actually use him as a way where he fails and all that stuff, and then ends up leaving. That might be this great thing. You'll see Michael go like, "It's come to my attention that someone is here that should not be here." And it's this whole big thing, and then it's like him and not her and all that stuff. And all these things. Yeah, that's probably how they should have, revealed him in the first place or whatever. Not this way, right?
Yeah, I think that would have been a little better.
How did you like the whole thing where it's like, I use my powers of deduction, and then it cuts to her drunkenly telling him?
I literally expected it.
Exactly, yeah.
I was like, this man has no powers. She told him.
She told him during that one night where she was super drunk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, it's coming back to me. That makes sense.
I vaguely remember that. Yeah.
When she destroys that cake, that also got to me where I was like, why would you destroy it that way? Like, why would you plunge your arm all the way into it and then flip it over?
In this cake.
And then the next move is just she flips it over. She could have just flipped it over. It would have been just the same. Or at least taken a bite. God, it looked delicious.
She had to destroy it in the most angry way possible.
Yeah,
I kind of like how her punching into the cake makes a big sinkhole in like the thing.
Yeah, I guess.
Like, you shouldn't have that much control over how your negative vibes affect the good place, but it's still nice. It's like on the nose. It's like a direct thing.
Anything else happen in this?
At the very end, Tahani goes to the episode, and what? At the very end, Tahani goes to the restaurant, and it appears the sinkhole is growing, not shrinking.
Yes.
Which is
growing
something.
And like moving towards her.
Yes, and like bits are falling off, and you see her feet, and she's like, oh dear. Because that was their whole plan. They were like, listen, hey.
It'll heal in 3 days was told to her.
Yeah, my bad. I thought, we were all past this. Apparently there's still some bugs in the system, but, like, give it a few days. It's going to fix itself. That's how this works. It's, it's all good. And then, I believe we are supposed to take it as, in fact, the opposite is happening, and it's getting worse.
I liked when, what is her soulmate's name again?
Chidi.
I like when Chidi goes, you literally destroyed the world, or something like that, and she smiles. Don't smile, something to be proud of. I thought that was a good line.
I don't remember that. Oh, because he says, you broke Jianyu, and she's like, this is not my fault. I swear it was already like this or whatever. And then later he says, you broke whatever. Like, he keeps breaking things. Yeah, I like those references and like the meta stuff and like the repetition, the callbacks to certain things.
No, a good callback goes a long way
for me. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's everything that happened in this episode.
I think so too. I think that both of us now have some concerns about this new development.
Sure.
But we're gonna see, how it goes.
I'm enjoying the show, though. I gotta say that, like, it has a special place in my heart. This little charming show. Yeah. But I do think it could very quickly go off the rails.
Well,
I need more Ted Danson. I need less Jianyu.
I will say that all things considered, the fact that he speaks his first words and ends up with Chidi in like the ethics class all in one episode, great. That should not have taken longer than one episode for all that to happen, right? Could you imagine if he's still like, I want to be myself and all this stuff for like much longer? Like that would be hopefully we can just and like
streamline him back to hell.
If anything, that's the pacing, right? And we talked about like the credits come up and they're still going and all that stuff. Like the pace of the show is so brisk that I feel like even if I hate something, hopefully it's done soon enough that it's not a big deal.
Yeah, and certainly possible. All right, guys, that is our thoughts on this. Let us know in the comments what you thought about it. Don't die in a fire, and we'll see you next time.
Hello, internets. I just love watching JustDaggers. If you've enjoyed this video as much as I have, click that subscribe button. Peace out, homies.